Some of you who watch videos on the Keykeepers channel saw this pizza oven and asked some questions about it. And so in this video, which is of course about a pizza oven, and that's so exciting, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this thing, what it is, and where you can get one. This is the Wisco Industries Incorporated Model 425A pizza oven. And although Wisco Industries is based in Wisconsin, this is made in the same place everything else is, made in China. But it seems to be made fairly well. I have been inside it just to see, what was going on in there, because the thing that's very interesting about this is, unlike a lot of similar pizza ovens, this thing has an electronic control panel on the front with a digital timer and 2 temperature selectors and stuff like that. And normally I don't have good feelings when I see something like this in a device that gets hot, because usually what seems to happen is eventually the electronics themselves get cooked, and it's much more serious than just bad capacitors or anything like that. And this thing's not built too badly internally. What they've got a bit of fiberglass batting up against the interior panel here to try and protect the electronics. They also have a little DC brushless fan in here that is on a variable speed circuit, but it doesn't stay turning slow for very long. It speeds up to a breakneck speed and just runs like mad during the time that you're cooking the pizza, and also for several minutes thereafter. Anyway, it does seem to be a good quality fan. It's a Delta fan, and that's a company that shouldn't ordinarily cheapskate on stuff. And inside there, of course, is the cooking compartment. There's a heating element in the bottom. There's another heating element in the top, and over here behind this sort of jail bar grid-looking thing is a temperature sensing diode that tells the microcontroller what it's doing and if it needs to shut the heating elements off or turn them on. And there's a board in there. It's split into 2 boards, and one of them is the microcontroller board, which is right up against here, and the other one's a power board that has a low voltage power supply on it for the electronic logic. And also, it has a pair of relays on it, presumably one for each heating temperature. And of course, they're these little 12-volt coil, surface-mounted relays. And I don't know how they're going to hold up, to switching this kind of current, because this thing claims to pull a little over 1,500 watts worth of power, and it seems like that's a lot to ask of those little relays. And of course, the display up here has 7 segment characters in it, 4 of them, decimal points that won't ever be used, and a set of colons that of course are used to indicate timekeeping. You can put a maximum time of a half an hour on this timer. So with that little tour of the pizza oven, and there's a grease tray right there, which rather amazingly is clean, let's cook a pizza in this thing. I guess I'm going to go ahead and start by putting the tray in here, turning the thing on, putting a couple minutes worth of time on it, putting it on the high temperature, and letting it preheat. You can get to hear the fan start here. It starts out slow, and then it just gradually picks up speed until it's just flying. I'm not even going to ask what Bizarre Furhead is doing.
I have no head! Help me! Help me! Where are you, boy?
As to where you can actually get one of these things, this one, we got this 2 Christmases ago at Farm and Fleet. Now, Farm and Fleet is not a nationwide chain. In fact, I think they service pretty much the Midwestern states only, from basically Iowa down to Missouri, and a few places in between. So if you can't find a Farm and Fleet, Wisco Industries does have a website, and perhaps they can guide you to where you can buy one of these pizza ovens. We actually got this. They were putting these on sale. Ordinarily they're $100 a copy, and Farm and Fleet was having a sale on them. They sold out of them, but they gave us a rain check, and we ended up buying this for about $50. Of course, you have a common sense warning on the top. Don't touch that unless you want to brand yourself. Performs best when used on its own individual branch circuit. Don't stack ovens. They have rubber feet. You probably melt them. And of course, baking time varies. And what they are saying about the individual branch circuit is true. If you can run this thing on a dedicated circuit, it's definitely going to do better. Okay, the oven has now preheated, and you can hear that little fan going to town. Let's go over here and get the pizza that I'm going to fix. This is a Jack's Naturally Rising Pepperoni Pizza, and I like the pepperonis on the edge because that makes them crispy. And not having any of these fall off while you're getting it over to the oven is Probably a little bit of both of art and science with a little bit of luck mixed in for good measure. Hopefully this thing won't pivot right out of here and fall on the floor, and I won't royally burn my fingers on it. Put this in here, just like that. Turn this thing back on. Usually cook these on the high temperature. And this thing does cook a little bit faster than a regular oven. You know, it might take 20-25 minutes to cook a pizza like that in a regular oven. You hear the fan slow down a little bit, which probably suggests that, you know, the power distribution and wiring inside this thing's not the best. But anyway, cooking a pizza in this thing, you want to watch it the first time you do it, because it doesn't take quite as long as it does in a regular oven. If you're one of these people who can't wait patiently for your pizza, it's perfectly okay to have some hors d'oeuvres on hand while you wait. If you're wondering why the pizza oven door is bent like that, it wouldn't have anything to do at all with my dropping it on the floor a couple of times. And now the pizza's ready. Look at that, done to perfection. So just slide it off of there, don't drop it on the floor, then it's ready to be cut and served. By the way, just a quick little note for those who are wondering, the ice maker has been working just amazingly well. It's been making better ice than it's been making more ice than it has made in a very long time.